Let's get right to Ron Baron. He is the chairman and CEO of Baron Capital, which has $45 billion in assets under management. Ron is joining us ahead of the 32nd annual Baron Investment Conference. And Ron, it is great to see you this morning.
Great to see you too.
So 32 years, we've been doing this for a long time, not 32 years on Squawk Box, talking to you on the morning of your annual investment, but a long time.
Amazing.
And we're going to jump into the investment, but I want to ask you, because there are a lot of people who look at a couple of days of declines in the markets. You're not one of them, but there are a lot of people who will look at that and say, uh-oh, is there a bubble here? And I know that is not one of your core investment things. In fact, you look at the opposite. You never look at bubbles or headlines or any of the rest. But what do you do at a time like this when there are so many people asking about questions about valuations and the potential for bubbles?
Not very much, but when you're talking about the 45, can I just go back for a moment? When you spoke about $45 billion of AUM, I'm impressed with that since we started with 100 million. And then secondly, but even more impressive, is we made our clients since 1992, when we started with 100 million, 52 billion in profits. So we managed 45 billion, we made 52 billion in profits. And I started off in debt, and now I'm not. Now I'm not in debt anymore. So what do we do? Not very much. Just trying to understand where there's opportunities, and if there are opportunities, to try to take advantage of them. And over the past, it's really interesting. Last month, the whole market has been really focused on technology and AI. And if it wasn't technology or AI, stocks haven't done very well. In fact, if you take the top stocks out of the market, they represent 38% of the market, and it's 11% return. That when you take that out, those big stocks out, the return for everything else is negative. And the month of November, October, we were down in our smaller and mid-sized companies a third, something like that. And if you look at the returns, the funds that we have that invest in technology and fast-growing businesses, they've done very well this year. The stocks, the companies that, the funds that invest in companies that are smaller and mid-sized, they've done poorly. They've, relatively flat year. It's pretty amazing. That's what's happened.
But I was thinking of you earlier this week when the Dow crossed 48,000 for the first time, because you are somebody who has basically said, never bought a bond. You're not going to make money if your money's either in a bank sitting there trying to earn investment, or in a bond, that it won't keep pace with inflation. So you have always said that the market is the place to be. And when you think of big numbers, you've always said, yeah, that's going to happen. Those big increases will come with stocks.
Yeah, so I think about the stock market and the economy basically doubling every 10 or 12 years. And that's what's happened for my entire lifetime. Everything doubles every 10 or 12 years. So what has to happen is the value of your money falls 4 or 5% a year. That's inflation. Falls 4 or 5% a year, and the economic growth has been about 2% a year. So it's about 7% a year growth, and that means everything doubles in 10 years. The value of your money falls in half every 15 years. So you've got to make twice what you're making today in 15 years to stay even. And so stock market, so Bitcoin's been amazing, obviously, and gold. I have a few gold coins that I've been buying. Mostly I bought in 2006, because I was outside of New York at that time, and when 9/11 happened. And so I tell my wife, I want to buy some gold coins in case something really bad happens. We can escape. We can buy a car. We can buy a boat. I want to buy. And so she ignores me. And then I go to Stacks on 57th Street. And I start buying these coins. And then one day in the summer of 2006, 2007, it was $400 an ounce. She sees me walking in. She said, "What is that?" I said, "Gold coins." She said, "It doesn't look like gold. Let me see it." And so I show it to her, and she says, "What are you doing with this? It's heavy. What are you doing with this?" I said, "This will get us out of New York if there's a nuclear attack or something." And she says, "Are you crazy?" She says, and what are you going to do that for? You're going to buy water and someone's going to give you change? So she says, "Don't you dare bring another one of these in my house." So it's $400 an ounce.
Ron, thank you for joining us this morning. We're looking forward to the conference, and we appreciate you being here ahead of that.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Ron Baron.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Squawk Box will be right back.